Welcome in to another edition of the Panther Prowl on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore, and this is a jam-packed special edition of the show because the GSU Soccer Complex is going to be jam-packed with Panthers matches over the next week. The men are at home tonight against South Carolina, 7 o'clock kickoff. You can watch, as always, on ESPN Plus if you can't make it out. The women will be at home against ODU on Sunday. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff, also ESPN Plus. And then on Tuesday, the men will be back at home to host in-state rival Mercer. That's a 7 o'clock kick. All of the GSU Soccer Complex, all available on ESPN Plus if you can't make it. We'll have as much coverage as we possibly can of all of it on the SDH Network. And look, that starts with this edition of the Panther Prowl. You're going to hear from two of Georgia State's men's center backs in Fillaudeau and Tyrone Kirunda about the last couple of matches on the road, what the team needs to get a result at home tonight against South Carolina. You're going to hear from Brett Surrency talking about all of that and more. You're going to hear from the woman of the hour, Callee Maughon, who is going to break the Georgia State appearance record on Sunday. The most games in Panthers soccer history. You're going to hear from Callee herself, but you're also going to hear from some of those who know her best throughout the show. So let's kick things off with the men's side since they're in action tonight. Let's hear from both center backs, Fillaudeau and Tyrone Kirunda. You've seen Charlie Ward in our box-to-box. We'll catch up again with Charlie here soon on another edition of the Panther Prowl. But two of those center backs, we'll speak to them, and we'll also talk to Brett Surrency about tonight's action. First impressions on being here at Georgia State for you?
Very good impression. It's been now 2 semesters, the second semester, so a few months. Very good. The guys welcome you very well. The staff as well. The city is very nice. It's a new environment, but I really like it, so yeah, really good.
How are you enjoying the style of soccer with the Panthers?
I enjoy it. I enjoy it actually because like we kind of adapt of like we can play different shape, and it depends on who we play. But like the coach, I really have like a strong like philosophy of playing, and I really like it. We play like we're building from the back, but we can also play long. We can do like kind of everything, but so I really like it. Yeah.
What's really impressed me has been the team's ability to change shape and change tactics at times. How much work does that take on a daily basis for you guys to be comfortable in that?
Yeah, so first of all, you ask a lot of like video first of all with the staff and the team to understand like what movement you have to do, like for different positions you can play. But we also have like a lot of players that can play like different positions, so it helps a lot to change like shape and formation. So I think that's the big thing. A lot of people can play like different positions, so it helps us to do that. And I think we did it, like you say, really well on the past few games. But we just missed some like small details in both boxes, defensive and offensive boxes, to finish some games. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come, pretty sure.
These last 2 games on the road, a loss and a draw. What stands out to you when you look back at those last 2?
Obviously, it's tough because you want. Doesn't matter how you win. You want to win. You want to get the point. But I feel the attitude, the mentality, like of the team is really good, really good. And I think if we keep doing the right thing like that, the result gonna come for sure. I'm for sure about that. And so yeah, we play at home. We play at home tonight, so we're gonna keep going what we do, and hopefully the result gonna come.
All right, first off, let's start with the last match. Scoreless draw on the road. What stands out to you about it?
I think for the most part the attitude that the boys brought. We're on the road. We haven't had the best start to the season with 2 losses in a row, but just coming there and giving it our all, fighting for that clean sheet was most important. And I think we were quite unlucky not to get a goal. We had a few chances, but definitely like a step in the right direction.
How nice is it to get back home after two straight on the road?
Oh, definitely. I'm not a big fan of the away games, to be honest. I don't like to sing around the hotel the whole time, so I'll be buzzing to be at home.
How cool has it been playing here when you get a crowd and it gets a little loud here in the cage? How have you really liked the environment?
Definitely something different. So where I was in California, my previous school, it was a little bit of a bigger stadium. So here with the fans being close to the field, you definitely feel the energy, and yeah, that can drive you at times.
How are you enjoying Atlanta and the adaptation to the ATL?
Very much so. I definitely feel at home here. I'd say there's a lot to do in the city. The boys have been great to me, and yeah, even just the people at the college, at my grad school, super welcoming, and so yeah, I definitely feel at home.
Who have been some of the guys that you've kind of blended in with the most here at Georgia State?
I would say probably Silva early on, not only because he drives me to training every day, but I don't know, for some reason just gravitate towards him, and then also Hangi, the goalkeeper, because we're both a little bit older than the rest of the guys.
Looking at tonight's match, what's the most important thing that you think it's going to take to get a result?
I think just confidence and belief. We haven't been able to get a win yet, but I think the boys have shown in the last game what we're capable of. We know that we're going to be hard to beat, and I feel like chances will fall for us. So just having that patience and believing that it will come, as long as we bring the battle and the grit to compete.
Let's start with the last two games on the road. Last time out, it was a scoreless draw. What stands out to you as you look back at it?
Mentality. I think that's something that we've been focusing on a good bit. And for us, two tough road trips, in a row. First one being UCF and being delayed by the hurricane and sort of the crazy that went with that. And then, going to ODU the following weekend, flight for us. So the travel over 2 weeks was pretty heavy. Just in terms of volume and distances maybe, but yeah, I thought the mentality was great, from the second part of UCF all the way through ODU. Going on the road in the Sun Belt is tough. Obviously every opponent is difficult, but you add some travel in there as well too. It makes it really challenging, but I was really pleased with the way that the guys responded and the approach. I think the mentality and the approach is probably the things that we take away from those games.
Yeah, great session today. It really seems like, this team is very bought in, very together as they get ready for these next two at home.
Yeah, and I think that's been something all year. I really credit the guys just as humans. They're good people, and they enjoy each other's company, and I think that's amazing. And I think we've talked before. We've had some adversities through the start of the year, and our focus is that every team deals with those, and hopefully ours have just come early, and we'll be able to, sort of shape the way we go about the rest of the season because we've gone through some tough times, and hopefully it'll benefit us as we finish out the season.
It's interesting, that balancing act between challenging players and pushing them very hard in a session, but also making sure that they enjoy what they're doing. And it's been kind of a debate on the coaching side as of late. How do you strike that balance with you and your staff?
Well, I think the biggest thing is buy-in. I think you hear that phrase a lot, but you have to, the messaging that you preach, if you will, has to be received by the players, and you have to figure out what tactics with the guys to ultimately get to have them believe in the things that you're saying. And sometimes that's developing, different types of relationships, whether that's groups or individual. And in this day and age, I don't think a lot of people will respond to the yelling and the screaming and things like that. It's more of an individual convo or a quiet convo or an educational convo. I think one of the things we take for granted sometimes with the players is that they have a lot of access to information. So as coaches, it keeps us on our toes because, they have the ability to go on YouTube and watch sessions or listen to guys talk, or this is how this team plays and this is why, and this is this shape and this is what they're getting out of it. So, if you don't prepare from your end, the guys can see through that. So then if you're just lackluster and sort of put things together, the guys will call you out, and then you're not going to have buy-in because they're not seeing that you're putting in the time and the effort that you're demanding from them. So I think a lot of it is probably relationships, and the other side is just being prepared.
Let's look ahead to these next two at home. First at South Carolina. What stands out to you about them, and what do you want to do to get a result?
They play really hard. They're the things we've talked about, their mentality and their graft and, physicality is really high. And you talk about buy-in, they seem very bought into the things that they're doing. So we'll have to meet that and in order to get something from it, it's going to be really challenging. So there's going to be a balance act of, be able to deal with the again, the physicality, but at the same time have a bit of quality, you know, in particular on the ball, because, you know, I do think they'll have good numbers behind it once we can hopefully break those initial waves of pressure, you know, and then from there it's usually what separates good teams is having a little bit of quality in and around the box.
A lot of shared connections in that game. Players who grew up playing with one another. We all know head coach Tony Annan really well. Does that add a little bit of extra spice to it?
I don't think so. I think it's just a Sunbelt game, and there's a ton of spice to the Sunbelt game, games in general. It may for some of the guys, you know, for us from a coaching staff perspective, it's a home game in the league and one where we're trying to get points, you know. So for us, all of those league games are really, really important. There may be some extra fire for some of the guys because, you know, as you mentioned, when you look across the way and you see friends or guys that you grew up playing against, you know, you want to prove yourself. So, you know, I certainly would understand and certainly expect that to happen from some of our players. But I think from a coaching staff perspective, our preparations are just, look, this is another Sunbelt, you know, game for us. It's another opportunity for 3 points, and, you know, let's put our best foot forward.
There's going to be more of those shared connections next Tuesday as Mercer comes to town, non-conference match. What stands out to you about them and what's important to get a result there?
Yeah, you know, I think outside of the Sunbelt, it's probably a team that we're most familiar with because we play them every spring, we play them every year. So, you know, in terms of the continuity of the rivalry, if you will, we're playing them at least twice, you know, a year, every single year. So we know them really well beyond even the guys that have played through the state, but just by, you know, playing with or playing against each other annually as many times as we have. But again, another team that is incredibly bought into what they do. You know, the physicality side of things, the dead balls, set pieces, just really, really good at it and defend really well. And, you know, because of, you know, the familiarity and I think the rivalry, it'll be a really tough game. So they're having a good season as well too. The late year, midweek non-conference games, you know, sometimes are a little bit slow going. I don't expect that with this game. I think both groups will be ready to go and, you know, it should be an entertaining game.
Big thanks to the Panthers men's side. Fillaudeau and Kirunda will likely be in the lineup tonight as the Panthers host the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Our old friend Tony Annan back in town. That game will kick off at 7 o'clock at the GSU Soccer Complex and will be broadcast live on ESPN+. Let's look ahead to Sunday. Callee Maughon will break the all-time record for games played for a Georgia State soccer player. You're going to hear from Callee, but you're also going to hear from some of the people who know her best in the Panthers program, and maybe a couple of special surprises in this package as well. Get to know Callee Maughon, the all-time appearance leader in Georgia State soccer history. What's your first memory of playing soccer as a kid?
Oh gosh. Actually, I think it was rec soccer, and it was like boys and girls because it's rec. And I was playing, and I think we were losing, or we were tied or something. And a kid on the other team gets a breakaway, and nobody on my team was going back to get it. And I just remember taking off and slide tackling him, and then it went out of bounds and the game was over. And then my coach carried me off the field because I was dying. But that was my first memory, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of fun.
So you've been kind of crazy tough from the very beginning, then it sounds like.
Yeah.
What drives you? I've said it before on a broadcast, you're one of the toughest players that I've ever called at any level. How do you keep going?
I just think I just love it. It's just simple. I don't know, it's just when I step on the field, it's just everything goes away. No worries. Obviously I'm stressed about the game and I want to win, but anything that's happening outside of my life, it just goes quiet. It's just all I can focus on is playing. So yeah.
Is there a player that you've followed and kind of modeled your game after and said I want to play like that?
Maybe Crystal Dunn, because she's a very good player. She's very hardworking and she never stops moving in her game. And that's just something I too I don't I like to keep moving. I don't like to stand still. That's definitely something that I admire from her.
Yeah, I love her as a player. And as a person, to be honest with you as well. Just a genuinely nice person. You know, we're obviously really close, our programs, in a variety of ways. But physically, obviously, we're very close too. So seeing people in the training room or, you know, the hallways or whatever it may be, Callie's just a lovely person. you know, in terms of a player, I love her just because she's just so hard-nosed. She's fearless. You know, you look at her and she's had to now wear a knee brace for her final year, and it doesn't even seem to faze her. I just love her mentality and the way she goes about it, and you know, that certainly is leadership through example. You know, you look at her, and I would imagine the girls are like thinking the things that she's gone through to be where she is, and you know, obviously the longevity in terms of her playing career and appearances is incredible. So obviously really happy for her, but not surprised at all, just because she's a warrior. You know, I know the staff loves her, and the players as well too, and yeah, proud of her, pleased for her, and happy to see her break a record.
How have you grown as a person at Georgia State?
I definitely became a lot more confident, because I think when I came in, like, Ed would talk to me like every week and he'd be like, you're good enough to be here, like you can play, like just like play how you want to play, and like you're gonna do fine. So like definitely like confidence has grown. I think like my like ability to talk a lot more has definitely gotten like a lot higher, because like definitely freshman, sophomore, even probably junior year, like I really didn't talk that much on the field. And then like last year I talked like a little bit, because like I kind of knew with like Eva and Anna leaving, I was gonna have to like step up and like to a leader role. So like I like tried more last year, and I really like came in the spring where like I came and like I actually started talking a lot more, and like this year I talk a lot more. Like people might not even hear me, but like I know I do. Like I definitely talk a lot more. And I think like honestly like keeping like an open mind, like because like everybody plays differently, and like it's definitely like I don't know, like I'm not used to like some people's playing styles, and it's definitely like cool to be able to play like and like learn how like other people's game plays, and, like how it like meshes with mine.
How have you enjoyed being captain this year?
It's been really nice. I was a little worried at first, because like I said, I was like not the like loudest, and I still am not like the loudest in the room. But like I just like think of myself as like more of like lead by example. Like even if like I'm having like an off game, like my passes aren't right, or like I like can't like get a touch right or anything, like I'm still gonna like work really hard off the ball and on the ball. So I think just like leading by example has like helped me as captain, and I just think like so like that has helped me be confident in being captain, and like it's been really enjoyable. Like I like definitely feel like people respect me, and like I respect them. Like it's just like I don't know, I like it.
How many positions have you played at Georgia State? Because I feel like it's almost everyone.
I've played about everywhere, honestly. I haven't played like center back, and then like obviously goalie, and like not like striker, like a true striker. But like I like played winger when we played with like wingers. I played outside back. I played 10. I played holding mid. I've even like kind of played 8 this year, like how we've been playing. So like yeah, I've even like dabbled in like outside center back, but that was more of like summer league thing. But like there was a game this year that I did do it. But like yeah, basically everywhere.
You've played on the right, you've played on the left.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere that you feel at home on the field?
Just like on the outside. Like I like to go in the middle, like it's nice, but like when I was like strictly like playing in the middle, like I just felt a little like awkward. Like it wasn't even like I didn't like it. It was just like I didn't know like if I like was playing as well as I could, just because like I felt awkward. But like people might think differently. I just personally was like, oh, this feels so weird. But I like to be like on the outside.
I think what impressed me the most, especially last year, because Atlanta United started doing this, where Brooks Lennon, as the right back, would come inside and tuck in and make those runs through the middle, and you were doing the exact same things. Like, how much does it take for you to figure those little movements out and figure out where you can be most effective on the field, even if you move into that position playing a different one?
I think it's just like asking questions, like especially with the coaching staff we have now, like TK, Ed, like you are confused, like they will like TK especially, like he will give you film to watch, like he will give you specific plays, different like teams. Like he texted me about watching like Marshall's men's, because like they were playing the way we were playing for a while, just so like I could get a better understanding. And I mean, obviously, like still there's times where like I struggle with like, oh, like this new position that I have to go into. But like I just think like as long as I stay confident like on the ball, like and just like play the simple pass, like it's really like the same overall.
Just what has Callee Maughon meant to Georgia State soccer?
She basically reflects who we are. She works hard. She never misses games. She buys into what we want to do. But I always think the funny story with Callee is like when she came on the visit, I thought there was no chance she was coming in. You know, she's from a tiny town just like around Athens, and since day one she's just kind of hit the ground running, does a great job helping the new girls kind of assimilate, and has grown into being a leader as well, which is, you know, I think what we always hope happens. I think coming in as a young player is difficult to kind of take the lead, but she's really grown into that role with the help of some of the players that have come before her.
She's one of the toughest players I've ever called on a regular basis. does it kind of surprise you sometimes how much she can handle in games? And
I think it did year one.
now you're just used
now
to it.
It's just part of who she is. I mean, she falls pretty dramatically, but it's not diving. It's just she falls that way. I mean, she's not a big girl, so I mean, she gets knocked about a little bit. She's not afraid to get stuck in. I mean, she plays with a brace because the doctor says she has to. She wants to throw it away. I think as soon as she finishes, that thing's going in the trash can. But no, I mean, she's tough. I think it's kind of what makes her who she is that she is resilient, both physically and kind of mentally, and that's what allows you to get that run of games that she's had.
What were the conversations like with her about coming back for another year this year?
Kind of a running joke. Like, we were talking to her, and like I think she just strung us along a little bit, to be honest. But no, I mean, it was one, of course, who wanted to keep her around. I mean, she's been around the program so long. Like, she's looked after my kids in the past. To whereas, they ask about Callee and where's Miss Callee? Is Miss Callee going to play today? And of course, the answer is always yes. So, for us, it was a long, drawn-out process on her end, and I think she was just doing it to make my life more difficult, to be frank. So.
How have you seen her grow? Like, what's an aspect of her, maybe her personality, that has grown the most during the time you've known her?
I think her personality is a willingness to have tough conversations. I think coming in, she was the best teammate because you could get that, what you talked about, just the hard work and the grinding, and she's never going to miss minutes and that sort of thing. But I think just growing into a role where she feels like she can hold others to that same standard. But I think probably tactically the biggest thing is we've seen her play pretty much everywhere. I mean, 2020 she was a winger. That's where she was when she came in, was a winger. She played as a 10, she's played as a 6, she's played as a fullback. She's inverted, she's done a bit of everything. So I think the biggest thing is probably how she's evolved tactically. And I think she should have people looking at her for next level stuff. We'll see. I think maybe the versatility will be the question mark we'll have to answer for her, but she's definitely got potential to give a lot of value to somebody.
How do you keep everyone motivated in a season like this, where you guys have had awful luck, you've had injuries, it's just been one of those years? How do you keep everybody up?
I think just more keep your head up and just focus on the next game. We just focus game by game. It's you can't focus on oh my gosh, what if we don't, what this doesn't happen, what if that happens? Doesn't matter. What matters is what's next. Who we play next is what matters. That result is what matters. We just can't focus on the negatives, and we have to stay in the present moment, I think.
What's your favorite moment during your time here?
Oh gosh. Honestly, probably beating Georgia Southern conference tournament when I scored, because that was just really fun. And I just don't score often, so.
We got to talk about that conference tournament, the injury that happened.
Yes.
How much, did you remember everything? You didn't black out or anything like that?
No.
How crazy was that? And then playing in the next game?
It was I was crazier to not play to me. I was I'm not going to play. The ER doctor was you shouldn't probably play. You could get an infection. But then Georgia State doctor was you can play if you want. And I was oh, I'm playing. It was I was crying when I was going off the field, not even mainly because it hurt. It was just oh my God, I could be done right now. This could have been my last game for the season. And so that was more of the crazy thing, that I was had the opportunity to not play. So yeah. But then we scored, and Liv Shaw scored, and it was great, and I was able to play.
How has it been captaining with Olivia this season?
It's been great. I think Liv's always been one of my close friends, and I just think it's helped us come even closer, just because we always talking about what we can do, what we have to do, what we need to do, how we can help, and it's just help us grow as friends, on the field and off the field. So it's been really nice.
After last season ended and you're kind of figuring out if you wanted to come back and play another year, you and Jada both decided to do it again. Mm-hmm. You've posted, I think, the granny emoji on social media about coming back.
Yeah.
What was that decision like, and did y'all kind of make it together in a way?
It was she was gonna stay. She knew she was gonna stay. I was kind of hesitant because I was just I don't know, maybe I should grow up, and get on with my life. That is a thing people need to do. But then every adult I talked to was no, you should just take it. Why not? And I was honestly, you're right. And Jada was taking hers. We're really good friends. She said in her box to box, we've been tight since freshman year. We came in as roommates, and we've been really good friends. So it was when she was taking it, I was definitely more inclined to take it, because I was I won't be all by myself as a grandma on the team. I definitely didn't want to be the only one. That would have just been no, that wouldn't have been a thing. But it was nice, and I don't know, like it was just like, I was just like, why not? Like, why would I stop playing something that I enjoy so much?
So you probably know Callee better than anybody. How important is she to this team?
Callie's a very important asset, both on and off the field. She keeps it calm. She keeps the energy high and good. She's very good at catering to how people like need to be approached. You know, some people can take an easier approach. Some people need it harder. So she's very well at deciding when to do that.
How rewarding is it for you being so close to her to see her on the verge of breaking the record for appearances?
It's so great. Each year she's just gotten better and better, and now that she gets a reward for it, and it's out there because she doesn't get like a lot of accolades when I truly think she deserves it. So I'm glad she's super close to breaking this record.
What's the biggest thing that you've seen her grow as a player during her time here?
Probably her confidence, not on the ball, but with kind of leading. She's definitely gotten more confident with talking to people, not necessarily stepping on toes, but not always saying, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. She does a good job at telling you what you need to hear in a respectful way.
What do you want to do when you're done here? Do you know?
Honestly, like, I'm not too sure. Like, I've talked about playing with Ed, and like he like thinks like I should do it, and like my parents obviously would love that, and like everyone like that's around me would like love for me to keep playing. I just am not sure, just because like the knee brace, and like, I mean, obviously like it doesn't really affect me that much, like as like many people thought it would. Like, it really isn't that big a deal, but like, I don't know, like we'll just see. I think we'll see once the season's over, like how I'm feeling.
What are going to be some of your biggest takeaways when you leave here?
That's a good one. Honestly, it's just like to stay confident in myself, because like that is always something that like I like kind of struggled in, is just like being more confident in me, because like I'm capable of like great things. I just sometimes forget that. So like definitely to like be confident in myself, and like to like trust those around me, and like believe in like teamwork. And then I don't know, like my capability to lead is definitely there. I just have to like use it. And then like just like all the people I've met, like all my like friendships I've built, even like some people like that I don't talk to as much, like they still made like a really big impact on my life. And like then there's other people like I'll probably like talk to forever, and like they'll be in my wedding like one day. So like definitely the people, and like even the coaches, like they are like all great people. So
How has the coaching staff helped you here?
honestly, like phenomenally. Like I came in, like I said, not very like confident in myself, and like even like as I grew here, like it still took a little while, but like definitely like very patient. Ed's been great. Like Ed is a great guy. Like even off the field, like he's definitely like he helps some of us like with like job opportunities and stuff. So like he's been great. TK, Brisa are great. Like I love TK and Brisa, like great, like best assistant coaches you could ever ask for. Like they're amazing. And like same with Ed. Like they just like help like phenomenally. Like I can't even explain it, to be honest.
That's been one of the coolest things about getting to know both programs, because y'all feel like a professional team in a lot of ways, but also feel like a family in a lot of ways. How has that been for you, and how has that helped you?
It's definitely like, because like, well, my family's so close, but like I like definitely like don't go home as much, just because like the family aspect here is just like so great. Like it's just definitely made me feel like a lot more like comfortable, and like honestly like another thing, like confident, just because like I feel so like supported around me.
When your time playing is done, whenever that is, how do you want to stay connected to the game, or do you?
I think I do. I'm not too sure how. Like maybe coaching like, you know, like little kids, like when I'm older, and if I have kids, like I'll coach my kids maybe. Or like even like I'll obviously still like watch like their games and like other people's games. But like outside of that, like I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Hola, Callee. We wanted to congratulate you all the way from Spain.
You're now officially a GSU legend, so keep working hard and keeping an example for the future generations.
We
Bye,
miss you.
Besos.
Besitos.
Big thank yous to everybody for taking the time to speak to me this week, especially when it comes to Callee Maughon. As you heard in the interview, she's one of my favorite players that I've ever had the chance to call. She's one of the toughest players that I've ever seen play. and she is absolutely a legend in Georgia State soccer, as Ava Diaz-Lois and Jimena Cabrero had to say. Thank you to Brett Surrency, to Ed Joyce, to Tom Fillaudeau, to Tyrone Kirunda, to Callee Maughon herself, and big thanks to Ava and Jimena for also sending in a video across the Atlantic from Spain. That's it for this edition of the Panther Prowl. You have action at the GSU Soccer Complex on Friday night, on Sunday afternoon, and on Tuesday night. And then we'll be back next week to get you caught up on everything in Georgia State soccer. Thank you for watching. See you soon.